Hey guys, thanks for joining my interpretation of the world around me. I'm Tony McElroy, and it's going to be my interpretation of the world around me. Yeah, I don't always see things the way, well, you normals would see it. So I think I find it kind of interesting, and maybe you will too. So sit back and let's see if my prediction comes true. You know, I've been trying to find some good music, and I don't like the way that ends. I wish it would trail off or something, but, you know, it's free. It's non-copyrighted music, and yeah, it's pretty good for free and non-copyrighted. But you may hear that change here in the future. So first off, let me apologize that I have not been doing the podcast. I do have several subscribers to this podcast, and I just haven't been doing it. Part of that is because I've been learning, adjusting the equipment, adding some audio equipment. Probably the majority of it has been trying to learn how to process the audio that I record to get the proper levels and the proper volumes. It's very intense, and even though I've got a pretty modern computer, it takes quite a while. I think I do about an hour's worth of processing, getting the output file processed, compressed, blah, 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 and then uploaded to a website or a server on the internet that allows me to play that to a multitude of people. If I put it on my own site, I would wind up running out of bandwidth on my network connection, so I actually have to upload it someplace else. You will be seeing future shows, and when I say see, I do mean see. You will be seeing future shows on Ustream and on YouTube. I've been doing some podcasts for my Jeep website, xjtalk.com, and in fact, I've been doing those podcasts since mid-December of 2010. It's a weekly show, comes on at 8 p.m. Central Time every Wednesday. And it has it's done live on Ustream as well as recorded and then put up so people can download it from iTunes or listen to it straight from a website, one of the websites that I have. So going to be doing the same thing with this one. I didn't want to put this one up live tonight because there wasn't a lot of point. I haven't actually come up with a time for this show. I'm still mulling it around, and I've been mulling it around since probably around December. I forget when I did the last podcast for my interpretation of the world around me. I don't know, that might be too broad of an idea for a podcast. I might need to narrow it down a little bit, but I like having I've enjoyed having the blog where I could type or write, I should say, about things that bothered me or things that I saw, and I look at it maybe a little differently than everybody else. And I'm probably one of those acquired tastes. Most people probably think I'm an idiot or an ass and not worth listening to or reading anything I have to write. But of course, there's some that, you know, think the same way I do or can understand where I'm coming from and see it and maybe even find it humorous. And truth be told, that's what I really like the most, is making people laugh. So when you see things that I write, you might want to kind of keep it in mind that, yeah, I may be ranting, I may be being judgmental, but hopefully there's something in there to enjoy, and really hopefully there's something in there to laugh about. So with that said, I'll just give you some background. I have been doing my blog for, at least a year now, perhaps longer. If you're not familiar with it, perhaps you've gotten this show off of iTunes. The website is www.muckleroy.com, and that's Muck Leroy, which is MuckLeroy. And you can go there and you can, listen to these podcasts, or you can read the blog entries. And I think probably I'm going to be doing less writing and more of the podcast. The podcasting is pretty fun. And I may have already covered this in a prior show, but like I said, it's been a while since I recorded one for my interpretation. I actually started doing this radio type stuff back whenever I was, 10, 11, 12 years old. And what I was doing it with was a tape recorder. I don't think this is really uncommon for male children, at least at the time frame that I was a child, where you get a tape recorder and it's really cool to be able to record your voice. I think what was unusual was I started building a mixer box. I started building boom mics. I started by the age of about 15 or 16, I knew I knew about everything that was in the Radio Shack catalog. And I knew exactly where it was, and I had some idea what I could do with it. And it was just a lot of fun. I didn't have very much money, so that's why I was building my stuff. And when I say building stuff, I'm not talking about transistors and amplifier circuits and LC circuits, blah, blah, blah. No, it was some really simple stuff, like a switch, and tying those switches together to the microphones, and then taking the output of that and plugging it into a tape recorder so that I could press record on the tape recorder and then turn microphones on and off. In fact, I even had a microphone outside, and I was able to listen to the crickets or whatever it was, whatever the insects are that make those noises during the summer. And I remember my dad came into my room late one night, probably around 11 or 12 o'clock, and wanted me to turn off the noise in my room because I was running the microphone from outside through my tape recorder, through the switchboard, through my tape recorder, and then out to some speakers. So it basically sounded like it was outside in my room, but a little louder than being outside. So I thought that was pretty cool because you have all the advantages of air conditioning and no bugs, no mosquitoes, but you have all that outside ambiance, if you will. So anyway, I turned it off, and I was upset because I thought it was really cool, and he didn't get it, and I think he just wanted to go to sleep so he could get up at 4:30 in the morning and drive 45 minutes to work and to Houston. Lived in Baytown. And drive halfway across Houston so he could go and work and make money so that I could do stupid things like what I was doing. But as parents, that's what we always do. We try to do things that help benefit our kids, even if we don't understand what may be benefiting them at the time. Anyway, here I am many, many, many years later, and podcasting has come about, and you no longer need a radio. You need a tape recorder, but now the tape recorder is the PC, or the tape recorder is a digital recorder. So you don't have to record on a piece of tape that's spinning, and it's an analog recording. It's solid state. It's a memory card, or it's a hard drive. It's digital. It's very 21st century. And with the internet, you no longer need radio waves to get your show or your information or your thoughts, your dreams, your propaganda to anybody in the world. It is an amazing technology, and I'm almost certain I've talked about this before. I know I've written about it. I'm almost certain I've talked about it on one of the earlier podcasts. So anyway, I'm not a big talker. I can talk to people a lot at times, but generally I don't do a lot of talking to people. So when I started doing this, which was really an idea to try to make the Jeep website a little different, and encourage people to come to the site and join in the conversation. Whenever I first told my wife about I was going to do this, she was a little shocked because she knows I'm not a big talker. I mean,